Do you know why bears are considered the most cunning animals? When I found out the truth, a shiver ran down my spine. My name is Luna. And I'm just an ordinary college student. During my boring college break, my boyfriend, Ethan, and I spontaneously booked a tour. I never imagined something so terrifying would happen. Ethan, have you packed everything for the trip? Yep. It's all here. Check if there's anything else we need. He replied. Ethan is my college boyfriend. We're in different majors, I'm in finance. And he's in animal management. We didn't meet through school activities. We actually met through an online game. After adding each other as friends, we realized we attended the same university. After a month or two of meeting in person, we started dating. Soon, it was time for the trip. Our destination was a beautiful valley. The rafting activity there really appealed to me, so I didn't hesitate to book the tour. It was already past 3 p.m. The tour guide, holding a megaphone, announced, "Welcome, everyone, to our tour group. I'll be with you for the rest of our time here. Please take a short break now. We'll meet back here at 4 p.m. to start our hike. Before that, make sure to refuel and prepare your hiking gear." Ethan and I found a spot to sit and rest. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through TikTok, searching for videos of the valley we were in. Many of them were posted by previous visitors. After watching them, I grew even more excited for the upcoming activities. During the hike, everyone was in high spirits. I even discovered that one of my gaming friends was on the same tour. Since we'd never seen each other's photos or knew each other's real names, we didn't realize it at first. In the game, he called me Moonbeam, and I called her Orchid. After recognizing each other, we exchanged names. Her name was Brooke, and she worked as a manager at an internet cafe. Wow. What a small world. I can't believe we met on a random tour, I exclaimed. I know. Right? I guess we're just meant to be, she replied. Brooke and I chattered away, having endless conversations, while Ethan became practically invisible next to us. The hiking portion of our tour is officially over. Great job, everyone, the guide announced. Please set up your tents. If you need help, feel free to ask me or the safety officers. There will be a bonfire party later, and we'll head down the mountain promptly at 6 a.m. tomorrow. For those who want to catch the sunrise, feel free to wake up early. After descending, we'll start our rafting adventure. Perfect. It's finally over, I thought. I'm already looking forward to rafting tomorrow. My legs feel like they're about to give out from all that climbing. Are you going to watch the sunrise tomorrow? It's too early. I probably won't make it. Everyone was chatting excitedly. And soon, tents were pitched. We gathered around the bonfire, enjoying the food we'd brought. It was incredibly relaxing. Make sure to zip up your tents completely, everyone, the guide warned. There are wild animals in these mountains, and some might try to steal your food. After the party, the safety officers and I will take care of the bonfire. 2 safety officers will be on duty, so you can rest assured. After the party and saying goodbye to Brooke, Ethan and I returned to our tent. Gradually, the mountain air grew colder, and the lights in the other tents went out. leaving only the faint glow of the bonfire around the campsite. Ethan was already asleep. But I tossed and turned, unable to find sleep. With my phone on silent, I scrolled through TikTok. Suddenly, I heard a rustling sound. A tall shadow appeared on the tent. I dared not make a sound, because the shadow didn't look human at all. Was it some kind of beast? My heart pounded with unease. The next morning, everyone was already packing up, ready for rafting. What happened in the middle of the night yesterday made my hair stand on end. I hadn't fallen asleep from exhaustion. I'd been scared unconscious. Because, dimly, I thought I heard the sound of some animal chewing and eating. After breakfast, everyone set off. I noticed that there had been 2 safety officers with the guide yesterday. But now there was only one. Could the one who was eaten by a wild beast yesterday have been him? Just a little further. Everyone. We're almost at the rafting spot, the guide announced. Once we reach the waterfall, you can take photos freely. Those who want to go rafting can register with the safety officer. This is the best activity. Wait. Where's the other safety officer? At this point, everyone realized there had been 2 safety officers. But now only one was at the back of the group. The safety officer had to go down the mountain for personal reasons. The guide explained. The company has already sent a new one to replace him. We're almost there. So please don't worry. I breathed a sigh of relief. Good. So he wasn't eaten by a wild beast. Oh. So that's what happened. Well, we stayed overnight in the wilderness. And nothing bad happened. So we'll definitely be fine. Exactly. Let's not scare ourselves. With so many people, what could possibly go wrong? Hearing the guide's explanation, everyone relaxed. But my uneasy feeling persisted. The guide then glanced at me, making me feel a bit uneasy. Seeing my pale face, Ethan asked, "What's wrong? You look awful. Didn't you sleep well last night?" Sort of. I just have a bad feeling, I replied. Are you scared of rafting? It's normal to feel that way your first time, he said. Actually, I was trying to tell you something yesterday. Suddenly, the guide's voice boomed. Travelers who haven't tried rafting before can try it with a friend. Those who like excitement, come register with the safety officer and me. Participants who don't join this activity will have to walk to the next destination on their own. We'll see you at the bottom of the mountain later. Oh. Why like this? Rafting sounds so scary. I've been climbing all morning. I really don't want to walk anymore. Someone complained. When Ethan heard that non-participants would have to walk down the mountain, most of the travelers, already exhausted, decided to join. Soon, everyone had signed up. Ethan, Brooke, and I registered together. Since Brooke was traveling alone, I invited her to raft with us so we could look out for each other. She happily agreed. What I had been trying to tell Ethan was completely forgotten. I fully immersed myself in the thrill of rafting. The cool water splashed on us, washing away the summer heat. Suddenly, screams and animal roars echoed from ahead. It was terrifying. Ah! Run! There's a bear! Help! Run! The bear's right behind you. Safety officer! Where's the safety officer? Help! The tourists panicked. Desperate cries and other sounds merged into a terrifying cacophony. Our tour group had encountered a bear, a 1 in 1,300 chance. Part of the rafting area was narrow, allowing only one boat to pass at a time. The water there wasn't as deep, nor was the current as fast as the later sections. That bear is dragging someone away. The man being dragged by the bear let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the valley, gradually fading into silence. The tourists behind him screamed continuously. They jumped out of their rafts and scattered, running into the forest. Ethan, Brooke, and I also jumped out of our boat, trying to find a safe place to hide. "Don't run around. Please gather together," the guide shouted desperately into his megaphone. Soon, everyone reunited under the guide's direction. A safety officer found a large cave, big enough to fit all of us. Our original group of 13 was now down to 11. Excluding the safety officer who went down the mountain and the tourist dragged away by the bear. "Please don't panic," the guide said. "We've already contacted the park rangers for rescue. I'm so sorry for this terrible experience. After the rescue, we'll refund all your fees in full." Gradually, a light rain began to fall in the mountains. Thankfully, the cave provided shelter. Otherwise, with heavy rain and a sudden drop in night temperatures, we would have quickly frozen to death. "I'm heartbroken about what happened to that tourist," the guide continued. "But right now, we must stick together. That bear has probably devoured him by now. Once a wild animal like a bear tastes human flesh, it will seek out that scent again the next time it's hungry. Please, no one go off alone. In this critical moment, we need to stay united." A few timid individuals were already crying from fear. Of the 11 people remaining, 5 were women and 6 were men. At the guide's suggestion, the safety officer, the guide, and the remaining 6 men divided into 2 groups to take turns on watch. No one was allowed to leave the cave until the park rangers arrived. The safety officer rekindled the bonfire, and with the help of the tourists, they collectively made several simple self-defense tools. Spears made from sturdy tree branches would serve as a deterrent to wild animals. After a night passed, the park rangers still hadn't arrived. The safety officer tried to call for help again with a satellite phone, but there was no answer. We were deep in the mountains, and no one's cell phone had any signal. I felt extremely uneasy. Ethan and Brooke kept trying to comfort me. Another day passed. The safety officer noticed something strange and speculated that the park rangers might have encountered trouble on the way. But he quickly dismissed this far-fetched idea. How could armed park rangers lose to a single bear? Our snacks and canned food were all gone. If the rescue team didn't arrive soon, we would starve to death. Even if we weren't eaten by wild beasts. Soon, someone suggested splitting into 2 groups, led by the guide and the safety officer respectively, to search for food. The goal was to survive until the rescue team arrived. Ethan, Brooke, the safety officer, and another male tourist were in one group. The other group, led by the guide, included 2 female tourists and 3 male tourists. We split up to search for supplies. The forest was so vast that we lost contact with the other team. The safety officer's satellite phone couldn't reach the guide either. Helplessly, we gathered the food and usable supplies we found and set up camp in another relatively safe location. 2 days later, we finally reconnected with the guide. But when we met up, their group of 6 was down to 3. This bear is too fierce. Too brutal. Someone cried. It killed 3 more people in just 2 days. That's not a bear. It's a monster. I don't want to die here. Wah. I saw that bear bite off his head. It made a crunching sound as it bit his neck. The guide and safety officer tried to comfort everyone. The situation was dire. We unanimously voted to stop waiting for the park rangers and find our own way out. Gradually, I noticed that the safety officer seemed unfamiliar with the mountain trails, unable to even distinguish directions. The other tourists seemed to notice it too. Finally, under everyone's questioning, the safety officer reluctantly admitted that he was just an amateur explorer and only knew a little. His safety certificate was a fake, bought with money. Even the guide was in disbelief. Once faith collapses, it cannot be rebuilt. One of the men, furious, punched the safety officer. Your rotten company clearly doesn't care about tourists' lives. I'm going to report you, he yelled. Everyone dispersed. Rather than listening to a safety officer who knew nothing, it was better to find our own way out. Ethan, Brooke, and I took some food and left. The remaining tourists formed their own groups, leaving only the guide and the safety officer. Little did we know, after we all left, the guide and safety officer exchanged cold smiles. After splitting up, the 3 of us continued to try and get cell signal to call for help. Why don't we keep going forward? Brooke suggested. I heard that in these mountains, there are usually park rangers living here. Ethan and I agreed. Since we couldn't get out anytime soon, we might as well try our luck. We could only pray that the bear wasn't active in this area. The 3 of us walked in the opposite direction from where our group had disbanded. What's that smell? It's awful. Because we had been running nonstop earlier, we were already lost. We only knew we were currently at the bottom of the mountain, close to halfway up, but had no idea which mountain it was. The smell grew stronger and more putrid, like rotten eggs mixed with decaying flesh. Oh my goodness! Could it be the tourist who was eaten by the bear before? Brooke asked, pinching her nose. The smell became so intense that I started gagging. Ethan and Brooke were doing the same. Suddenly, torn clothing and human remains appeared before us. It was the tourist who had been dragged away at the very beginning. The man's head was hollowed out, his eyeballs missing, leaving only empty sockets and a terrifying, distorted face. His other limbs were gone, and his torso was completely emptied of organs, leaving only a skeleton with some connected flesh. It was horrifying. Seeing this, the 3 of us simultaneously vomited. This is too cruel, I said, clutching Ethan's hand tightly. Ethan, I'm scared. Brooke was also pale. Luna, we should leave quickly, she urged. Ethan also agreed with Brooke's suggestion and helped me up. You're right. This is no place to stay. From what I know, this bear dragged the tourist here to eat him and didn't bother to bury or hide the remains. That means this area, within at least half a mile, is part of its territory. Right now, it's highly likely active in another part of its territory. Or it might be on its way back to this one. Bears are very territorial. Brooke and I were horrified by Ethan's analysis. If that bear came back, the 3 of us would become its next meal. With that thought, we picked up our pace. We were currently halfway up the mountain, and we decided to continue upwards. hoping to catch a faint signal there. Trees and slopes below and in the middle of the mountain would greatly weaken signal reception. As if blessed by some divine intervention, the three of us found a 2-story house in the mountains. The house had concrete walls, about 13 feet high, topped with sharp spikes. The gate was tightly shut, and a simple doorbell hung beside it. We rang the bell outside the gate. "Is anyone home? We're from a tour group and encountered a grizzly bear on our way. Can you help us?" The doorbell rang loudly in the silent mountains. After a moment, there was still no response. Our last shred of hope vanished. Just as we were about to turn and leave, the gate suddenly opened. "Come in." A man around 27 or 28 years old slowly pulled open the door. He had a hunting rifle slung over his back. The sun had already set, and we checked the time, it was past 8 p.m. The night temperature was much lower than during the day. The man offered each of us a cup of ginger tea. "Drink this. It'll help ward off the cold," he said, while talking to the man. We learned his name was Liam. He was a descendant of hunters from this mountain region. Years ago, there was a major wild animal attack here. All the park rangers who were stationed here were withdrawn. 7 people died in that incident. Out of the original 8 park rangers, only one 9-year-old child survived. But even that child wasn't spared. In that incident, he not only lost both legs but also suffered a mental breakdown. That child was very pitiful. The 8 people who died were all his family and relatives. When he was rescued, he kept babbling incoherently, repeating, "Uncle ate them. Uncle ate them." Liam cleared 2 spots for us to rest later that night. He then said, abruptly, "Perhaps what that child said was true. There might be unknown creatures in these mountains." Ethan and Brooke didn't take Liam's words seriously, thinking he was just playing a little prank to scare us. I also found it hard to believe, but I couldn't shake off a creepy feeling. Seeing the heavy atmosphere, Liam chuckled. "Haha. I'm just kidding. You 3 should get some rest early." After saying goodnight to Brooke, we returned to our assigned rooms and went to sleep. I slept next to Ethan, Liam's words replaying in my mind. Eventually, sleep overcame me. "You're awake. Come eat breakfast," Liam said, carrying several plates of coarse grains. "There's not much to eat in the mountains, so please bear with it for now. Later, I'll contact the park rangers and have them send you back." "Thank you so much," we said gratefully. "You're too kind," he replied. "People from all corners of the world are friends." During breakfast, we told Liam everything that had happened. Liam's expression grew serious. You encountered the bear in that river where you were rafting?" he asked. We nodded. None of us saw the bear directly, so we don't know how big it was. But the tourists in front probably saw it. One of them was dragged away. The body we found on the mountainside was almost just bones. What you encountered might not have been a bear," Liam said gravely. "Perhaps what that child said was true. Maybe there really are other creatures here, and they prey on humans." Our eyes widened. "What? Are there no bears in these mountains?" Liam took a puff from his cigarette, inhaled deeply, and slowly exhaled. "The area we're in right now is the south side. This area only has animals like rabbits and wild turkeys. It's completely separate from the north side of the mountains. The north side is where you find more aggressive animals like grizzly bears and wolves. Originally, the mountains weren't divided into north and south. After the last attack, the park rangers moved all the dangerous animals to the north side for isolation and protection. This area was leased by a tour company because it's perfect for rafting, and they developed it into a tourist destination. As for whether it was a bear, you didn't actually see it with your own eyes. Did you? You said that after the incident. Your guide and safety officer called the park rangers for help. Right? Liam expertly flicked the ash from his cigarette. Yes. I confirmed. We all followed their instructions and waited in the cave for rescue. But after a day and a night, no rescue personnel came. What's worse, the so-called safety officer was a fake. He got onto the team by buying a fake certificate. He's an absolute jerk. I'll call the park rangers and ask, Liam said, dialing on his satellite phone. When was the distress call? A few days ago? We haven't received any distress calls in the past week. Okay. Please send a team to the south side of the mountain. 3 tourists reported being attacked by a grizzly bear. And 4 tourists have died. We will send someone as soon as possible. Tell them not to go down the mountain. Just stay where they are and wait for our rescue. After hanging up, Liam told us to stay there for now, adding that the park rangers would likely arrive tomorrow evening. Just as Liam was telling us about his experiences in the mountains, the doorbell suddenly rang. Is anyone here? I'm from a tour group. Our group was attacked. Can you help us? It doesn't look like anyone's here. Should we just go? Liam pulled us back to observe from the second floor. Looking at the people outside the wall, we immediately recognized them as members of our group. After we confirmed it, he went downstairs and opened the door. You scared me to death. I thought no one was here, the woman said, her face pale with fright. All right. Stop dawdling and get in. Do you want to be chased by a bear again? Liam urged. It was already evening. I looked at the 4 people in front of me, the guide, a male tourist, and 2 other female tourists. The male tourist was a photography enthusiast named Sean. Of the other 2 female tourists, one was named Anna, a Russian-Chinese hybrid traveling in the US. The other was named Chloe, a foodie. The safety officer sacrificed himself to protect us. Wah! Chloe cried. So we have to try even harder to survive. For his sake. 2. The next day, it began to rain lightly. We waited anxiously, each minute feeling like an hour. As the rain grew heavier, Liam's expression became more somber. We all knew that if the heavy rain continued, it could lead to a landslide and mudslides. The worst thing happened. Because of the downpour, the park rangers, though they arrived early, were stranded between 2 mountains. A section of one mountain had collapsed, forming a raging torrent from the rain. We could only wait anxiously in the house. Gradually, the rain stopped. The raging torrent from the collapse blocked the park rangers. We had to walk to the other side of the torrent, crossing the river via a sturdy rope set up by the park rangers. Don't panic. Everyone. Cross one by one in an orderly fashion, the park ranger captain shouted. The 3 of us crossed safely. Just as the guide and the remaining 2 tourists were crossing, 2 massive dark figures suddenly appeared about 50 yards away. Although visibility in the mountains was very low, Everyone on our side clearly understood what these behemoths meant. "Hurry up!" the park ranger captain yelled. The captain and the park ranger aimed their guns at whatever was behind them. Liam also pulled out his hunting rifle, ready to pull the trigger at any moment. Sean, who hadn't yet reached the bank, looked back and was terrified. He didn't care how painful the water was anymore and used all his strength to scramble ashore. When it was down to Chloe and Liam, one of the bears, deterred by the crowd, had already left. The other bear suddenly charged frantically at Chloe. She, scared senseless, ran aimlessly in another direction. Seeing this, Liam immediately fired a shot. The bear was too fast and swatted Liam away. Liam was instantly thrown to the ground, motionless. Just as the bear's paw was about to reach Chloe, several gunshots rang out. The grizzly bear fell to the ground, lifeless. "Where's the bear?" "It's gone." After a few minutes of vigilance, no sign of the second bear was found. The park rangers quickly picked up their pace, swimming towards the shore along the rope. Chloe, having escaped the bear, was too shaken to speak. She stammered, looking at where the bear had fallen. "Ah. He was the safety officer." The bear turned into the safety officer. The captain first checked on Liam and found he was still breathing, just temporarily unconscious. After waking Liam, he heard Chloe's nonsensical words. How could a bear be a safety officer? Liam also froze, remembering what the mentally disturbed child had said 3 years ago. "Uncle ate Mom. They are called Morazira. And they can transform into any creature to deceive and then eat them." Liam said. "I'm not crazy. I'm really not lying to you. They are very dangerous. My uncle told me himself." Liam was carried across the river by the captain. Chloe, having escaped the bear, was too stunned to speak. "Everyone, let's rest here for a bit," the captain said. "After Liam recovers, we'll take a detour from here and return to the house for now." "Why?" someone protested. "We finally got rescued. I don't want to stay in this terrible place." "I don't want to either," another agreed. The captain explained the situation with the other small team waiting at the bottom of the mountain. The situation at the base of the mountain was not good after the recent heavy rain. It would be best to set off tomorrow afternoon. No one wanted to stay outdoors, so they agreed to the suggestion. After Liam woke up, he led us back to the house via another path. A moment later, Liam gathered us and very seriously told us about the Morazira. "Morazira? What is that? Don't joke around. Please listen. Everyone," Liam insisted. "I also find it unbelievable. But you all saw it with your own eyes." The grizzly bear turned into the safety officer. "He was the first safety officer who went down the mountain. Right? Although I don't know why he chose to hunt Chloe even with so many people around. He must have been stimulated somehow. I personally believe this creature is very cunning." We all fell silent, because Liam's analysis was 90% correct. Something in my mind suddenly clicked into place. From the moment the first safety officer disappeared, the grizzly bear appeared, creating panic. Its goal was to scatter everyone so it could pick off isolated tourists one by one. Ethan, Brooke, and I were not attacked by the grizzly bear because we stayed together at all times. Liam said that bears were only in the northern mountains, and we were in the southern mountains, so there shouldn't have been any bears at all. They were all illusions created by the Morazira. From now on, no one is allowed to leave the house. Because any one of us could be a Morazira, Liam declared. Everyone agreed with Liam's idea. Liam calmly looked at the captain and slowly asked, "Captain, I have a question. Why are there only you and one park ranger? Where are the rest?" At the time, due to the urgency of the situation, our team sent a total of 4 people. The captain explained. And it happened to be during a heavy rainstorm. To constantly monitor the safety of the path down the mountain, we split into 2 groups, one for rescue, and the other to stay at the base of the mountain to monitor the mountain conditions. "Oh. That's very considerate," Liam said. "My apologies for overthinking it." "It's fine," the captain replied. That night, everyone slept on edge. The next day, Anna woke up early. Everyone else was still asleep. From the 2nd floor, through the window, she saw her old friend, Hillary, not far from the house. In an instant, she seemed to be mesmerized, ran downstairs, and rushed out. Anna's commotion woke everyone up. Everyone tried to stop Anna, but it was useless. "Anna, don't go. That's a fake," Liam shouted, running downstairs at top speed. But he couldn't catch Anna. He could only quickly close and lock the main door. Anna had been on the verge of a mental breakdown these past few days, unable to accept anything outside of her comprehension. The person outside, she believed, was her friend, her beloved Hillary. Anna ran to Hillary and hugged her tightly. "My dear, do you know how much I've missed you?" Anna asked, holding Hillary's face and preparing to kiss her. Hillary mercilessly twisted her neck and dragged Anna away in front of everyone. "These creatures shouldn't even exist," someone exclaimed. "They're absolute devils. They're just born to kill. What are we going to do? Is it my turn next?" "Everyone, let's stop arguing for now," the captain urged. "For now, we're safe. Let's all get some rest." Currently, there were 9 of us. Liam's house had 5 habitable rooms, 3 downstairs and 2 upstairs. After some distribution, Ethan and I stayed in the first room downstairs. Across from us was Sean and Liam. The room next door housed the park ranger captain and the park ranger. The rooms were separated by a hallway, which led to the stairs. Anyone going upstairs would have to pass through the hallway of the 3 downstairs rooms. The remaining 2 rooms upstairs were not opposite each other. Their windows faced the same direction. Initially, everyone suggested that Brooke, the guide, and Chloe share a room. But Brooke was very uncomfortable sleeping with strangers. So she decided to stay in the 2nd room upstairs, which was above the captain and park ranger's room. The guide and Chloe were in the room next to her. Our room, Ethan's and mine, was directly below theirs. After sorting out the rooms, everyone went to bed early. The next morning, I woke up and found that my phone had received an airdrop. It was a screenshot of a memo from Brooke, with the words "phone camera" written on it. Looking at the screenshot, I was confused. I was about to go upstairs to ask Brooke what the image she sent meant. Then, Chloe's scream came from upstairs. Everyone was startled awake by the sound. When Ethan and I went upstairs, we saw everyone gathered in a circle around Brooke's room. I quickly pushed through the people blocking the way. Brooke was dead, Cause of death, suicide by wrist slitting. The wrist wounds were clearly visible, with no signs of struggle. But I knew for a fact that she would never commit suicide. She must have been murdered by a Morazira. And that monster was now among us. I hadn't told anyone about the message Brooke left me before she died. Not even Ethan. I believed she must have discovered the secret of the Morazira. Liam. Who was the first person to discover the body? I asked. Chloe. It was the guide and I. The guide confirmed. That's right. Chloe and I. We went to Brooke's room to call her down for breakfast. When we went in, we saw a lot of blood on her bed and the floor. When we entered, she was already gone. Chloe. The guide is telling the truth. I can vouch for it. Chloe said. We also checked the window in her room. It was locked. Captain. How can we be sure you two aren't in cahoots? Someone questioned. What if both of you are Morazira? Covering for each other? Moreover, there were only 3 of you on the entire second floor. For a Morazira, Brooke, who was living alone, would be an easier target. We all thought the captain's analysis made perfect sense. We decided to reallocate the rooms. After tidying up the downstairs storage room, we ultimately decided that everyone would stay on the first floor. Ethan and I remained in the first room. Next door was Sean and Liam. The people in the room across from us became the suspects. Chloe and the guide. The captain and the park ranger stayed in the room next to theirs. With the room situation settled, everyone went to bed early, secretly suspecting each other. I replayed the day's events in my mind. The only message Brooke left me was phone camera. Did that mean a phone camera could distinguish a Morazira? Looking at Ethan beside me, a thought popped into my head. What if she wanted to take a picture of something? Ethan turned his head to look at me. Nothing. Let's take a picture. Just for remembrance. If we make it out of here alive. I suggested. Ethan agreed. I first took a picture with the front camera. Then, I used the excuse that the front camera wasn't flattering and took another one with the rear camera. As I checked the photos, I was terrified. Because I was gambling with my life. When I saw that the photos hadn't changed, I breathed a sigh of relief. The next morning, Sean was dead. He was found in a gruesome state. Liam became our prime suspect. Liam. The captain accused. You were with Sean last night. You're a Morazira. Aren't you? Captain. I don't know what you're talking about. Liam retorted. Liam and the captain argued. The captain grabbed Liam's collar. If you're not, why did the Morazira kill him but leave you alive? You slept in the same room as him. Didn't you notice anything when he was attacked? Liam pushed the captain away and casually lit a cigarette. Captain. You're very suspicious. Why are you trying to deliberately lead everyone to suspect me? I said that Morazira are cunning creatures. They deliberately killed Sean while I was asleep. Of course, I would be the first suspect. Clearly, the Morazira achieved its goal because I discovered its secret. So it wants to use everyone's fear to give you a reason to execute me. I don't have the right to execute you. But everyone else thinks so. The captain said. Liam suddenly sneered. Captain. Stop pretending. I've known for a while now. You and the park ranger are the Morazira. We were all surprised. But Liam's statement, without any evidence, was clearly not believed by anyone. Actually, I'm not a hunter's son at all, Liam confessed. I'm just a fugitive who had no choice but to escape to these mountains. Originally, I got along quite well with the old man who lived here. I was very grateful that he took me in. But, unfortunately, this old man discovered my identity. So I had no choice but to kill him. That day, I did make a distress call. But the park rangers and we agreed on the evening. Yet, you two arrived a full 10 hours early and even lied to us that the remaining 2 team members were waiting at the bottom of the mountain. In reality, those 2 team members were completely fictitious. Weren't they? Based on the mountain road conditions, the shortest time for rescue to arrive would be at least 3 p.m. So you ambushed and killed them beforehand. The person eavesdropping in the tree that day was your accomplice. Wasn't it? Captain. You disguised yourselves as park rangers. As for that bear. Oh no. The Morazira. It couldn't control its bestial nature due to not eating for a long time. Which is why it charged at Chloe so recklessly. TSK. TSK. You monsters can even shoot your own kind without hesitation. The captain attempted to draw the pistol from his waist to shoot Liam. However, Liam, a desperate man, sensed the danger faster. He drew his dagger and slit the captain's throat. Then swiftly grabbed the captain's handgun. He quickly dispatched the remaining park ranger and fired several more shots into both their bodies. The events unfolded too suddenly, leaving us all stunned and frozen in place. No one dared to approach, fearing they would be the next to die. The captain's and the park ranger's bodies were already cold, but neither had transformed like the previous grizzly bear. Chloe. This is too cruel, I exclaimed. They weren't Morazira at all. You killed innocent people. Liam looked at me menacingly. I'm a fugitive. You talk to me about cruelty? Aren't you being a bit naive? Chloe instantly fell silent. Don't worry, everyone, Liam said. Even though I'm a fugitive, I still have basic principles. Of course. That principle depends on my mood. Ha ha ha. Everyone, go back to your rooms. After all, you'll all be the protagonists of a death game later. Before that, I'm still happy to continue playing my hunter role. One by one, Liam pointed his gun at our heads, forcing us back to our rooms. Under absolute suppression, we were powerless to resist. Now, besides Liam, only Ethan, Chloe, and the guide remained. 2 hours later, Liam forced us out one by one. All right, everyone. Now see if these 2 are Morazira or not, he said. We all fell silent. We saw 2 grotesque figures with ugly, mottled grayish-black skin, fine stone-like patterns on their limbs, goblin-like pointed ears, and fused toes. They were indistinguishable from monsters. This was their true form. The previous Morazira had first transformed into the safety officer, disguising itself within the group. After leaving, it transformed into a grizzly bear to create panic. Because it had transformed twice. When it was killed, it first reverted to its initial transformed state before finally returning to its true form. Liam wiped his pistol. From now on, every day, you must vote to choose the Morazira in our group, he said. Of course. You can also choose me. According to my deduction, There is at least one more Morazira among us. If you can vote out the real Morazira, I will let the rest of you leave. If you kill the wrong person, that's not my problem. Okay? This death game is simply inhumane to us. I'll give you 30 minutes to think and write your votes on these cards. I will announce the results after 30 minutes. I quickly calmed down. Including Liam. There were 5 of us. Ethan and I counted as 2 votes. If Chloe and the guide both voted for either Ethan or me, and Ethan and I both voted for either of them, then the final decisive vote would rest with Liam. No matter who he voted for, someone was guaranteed to die. Currently, Chloe and the guide were the biggest suspects. Liam would very likely vote for one of them. In that case, if Chloe and the guide each voted for Liam, and Ethan and I voted for Chloe and the guide, the voting results would be Liam 2 votes, Chloe 1 vote, the guide 1 vote, me 0 votes, Ethan 0 votes. No matter who Liam voted for, this round's vote would be null and void. That is, if Liam voted for either Chloe or the guide, it was highly likely that either Chloe or the guide would also have 2 votes, resulting in Liam 2 votes, Chloe 2 votes, the guide 1 vote, me 0 votes, Ethan 0 votes, or Liam 2 votes, Chloe 1 vote, the guide 2 votes, me 0 votes, Ethan 0 votes. Then there would be no highest number of votes. In the event of a tie, the vote would be reinitiated. Between Chloe and Liam, Ethan and I had the power of 2 votes. We could completely ensure the votes remained tied. Since Liam also didn't forbid abstaining from voting, the vote would be nullified. If Liam didn't vote for either Chloe or the guide, but instead voted for me or Ethan, and Ethan and I both voted for Liam, and Chloe and the guide either voted for each other or both voted for Liam, then the voting results would be Liam 2 or 4 votes, Chloe 1 vote, the guide 1 vote, me 1 vote, Ethan 0 votes, or Liam 2 or 4 votes, Chloe 1 vote, the guide 1 vote, me 0 votes, Ethan 1 vote. Finally, Liam would have the most votes. As the initiator, he couldn't rule himself out, so his vote would definitely be nullified. The outcome was indeed as I predicted, a tied vote. Declared void. You are indeed very clever, Liam said. But I don't like to eat beef. With that, Liam directly shot and killed the guide. Chloe was so scared she burst into tears, her legs giving out from under her. Liam shrugged as if nothing had happened. All right, he said. The last one in the house is dealt with. You can sleep well now. Leave on your own tomorrow. Before I change my mind. Wait. How are you so sure the guide was a Morazira? I asked. Confused. You told me yourself. All your experiences. He was the most suspicious, Liam replied. Back in our room, Ethan and I breathed a sigh of relief, discussing how we would get home tomorrow. It was all over. No. Something felt off. Something I might have missed. Waking up again. Dawn had broken. Ethan and I walked out of our room and found Liam's door open. A bad feeling crept into my heart. Ethan and I cautiously entered. Liam was lying on the bed. His head twisted 180 degrees. His skull was completely hollowed out. His entire face like a skin mask. And his back was hollowed out, leaving only his spine and bones. The body was stiff. Based on the current rigidity, he had been dead for at least 6 or 7 hours. From the overall condition of the body, the time of death should have been between 1:30 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. All his limbs were intact, and his right hand held a gun, his index finger on the trigger. Clearly, danger had struck suddenly, and he hadn't even had time to fire his gun before being killed instantly. The moment I saw the body, although Ethan immediately covered my eyes, the initial image was already seared into my mind. After a churning sensation in my stomach, I rushed to the bathroom. After throwing up, Ethan and I still decided to go back into Liam's room to get the self-defense weapons. All we could do now was try our best to protect ourselves. The captain's and the park ranger's 2 handguns were still with Liam. Ethan and I each took one. Liam's hunting rifle had been washed away when he was swatted by the bear. Now, only Ethan, Chloe, and I were left in the house. Could Chloe not be human? Ethan and I exchanged glances. We slowly opened Chloe's door, holding our guns. We found Chloe still asleep. Looking at the sleeping pills on the table, we instantly understood what was happening. Fortunately, the dosage of sleeping pills wasn't too high. We finally woke her up. "Ah. What are you doing? Don't kill me. Don't kill me." "Wha?" she cried. We put away our guns and calmed her down. "Liam is dead," I said. "Ethan and I got these guns from him." "Did you kill him?" Chloe asked. "No. No. No," I replied. "He must have been killed by a Morazira. If you can handle it, you can go to his room and see." I don't want to see it. It must be very bloody," she said. After reassuring Chloe, I told them my hypothesis. There was likely one more Morazira remaining. I tried to recall anything I might have missed. "Those 2 bears," I said. "Do you remember what happened that day of the rescue?" I remember there were 2 bears that day. One of them charged straight at me, trying to tear me apart. The first bear is dead. It was a Morazira transformed. The safety officer who first went down the mountain. Let's go check the guide's body." Ethan, Chloe, and I went to the hall to examine the guide's body. Sure enough, it had transformed into the Morazira's true form. Liam's guess was correct. He successfully identified the Morazira and killed it instantly. Everything I had missed suddenly connected. The guide and both safety officers were all Morazira. But the second safety officer saved us, Chloe said, confused. He was dragged away himself. The second safety officer was indeed dragged away. But that might have just been a diversion. A false appearance of death to carry out their next plan. I explained. "What plan?" Ethan and Chloe asked in unison. I glanced around the hall and at the stairs. Then pulled Ethan and Chloe into her room. I quietly closed the door and spoke in a whisper. "Do you remember what we did after Brooke was attacked?" "We left her body there and decided to take it back for burial after the rescue team arrived." "That's right. Who suggested that first?" Ethan and Chloe suddenly understood. "It was the captain and the guide," they said. "After Brooke was attacked." I kept trying to guess based on the clues. I continued. "You and the guide shared a room. Judging by the amount of sleeping pills you take, your sleep isn't very good. Is it?" "That's right," Chloe replied. I have severe sleep issues and need medication to stay in deep sleep. I kept hypothesizing that on the day she was attacked, you took the same dosage of sleeping pills as usual. I said. I have to say, you have a lot of nerve. Perhaps you took them with the attitude of expecting to die. After you were in a deep sleep. The guide and the safety officer worked together. Although all 3 rooms downstairs were occupied at the time, the doors were almost always closed. And we didn't arrange for anyone to be on watch. So, even if someone walked through the hallway from the first floor to the second floor, no one would have noticed. Actually, I've always suspected that the body of Brooke we saw might have been fake. The guide waited until we were asleep, then let the safety officer in. Then the safety officer ate Brooke, leaving no bones, and finally transformed into Brooke's appearance, faking a wrist suicide. I clearly remember you saying that you had confirmed that Brooke couldn't be saved. So none of us went to verify. But in fact, you didn't participate in the confirmation. The guide told you directly. Chloe nodded, confirming my hypothesis. At this point, Ethan and Chloe had also figured out the general idea. The last Morazira was clearly in the upstairs room. It was the one that killed Liam. At present, although the 3 of us had a theory, none of us dared to go check rashly. If it was true and it suddenly attacked, the 3 of us had no self-defense skills and were no match for it. At my suggestion, Ethan and I both hid in Chloe's room. There was a large wardrobe directly facing her bed. Compared to being under the bed, the wardrobe allowed us to rush out and save her the moment danger arrived. Now, only 3 of us remained. Tonight, the Morazira would definitely act again. Compared to Ethan, who was with me, Chloe was clearly an easier target. If my guess was correct, it would definitely come to Chloe's room tonight to eat her. At midnight, the door slowly opened. Chloe was facing away from the door. Without having taken sleeping pills, she was extremely tense. The moment the Morazira entered the room, Chloe's hair stood on end. Just as it reached out its hand towards Chloe. Bang! Ethan and I, using the faint moonlight, fired a shot at the dark figure. Then we rushed out of the wardrobe. Chloe, mustering all her strength, sprang out of bed and flipped on the bedside lamp. Only then did we clearly see that it was Brooke's body. My guess was completely correct. Unfortunately, that shot didn't hit its vital spot. How could you possibly have guessed? It snarled. With that, it used all its strength to pounce on Chloe, inserting its fingers into her heart and literally tearing Chloe's heart out. It was too fast. By the time Ethan and I reacted, Chloe's heart was already in its hand. Ethan and I fired several shots, and it finally fell to the ground. After firing several more shots to ensure it was completely lifeless, we finally collapsed to the floor. The last Morazira was finally eliminated. We were filled with immense guilt and pain for not being able to save Chloe. After all, a living person had died tragically before our eyes. We returned to our room. Finally, overwhelmed by mental stress, we fell into a deep sleep. When we woke up the next day, it was already noon. Ethan and I hugged each other and cried, grateful that we were still alive. I forced myself to re-enter Liam's room. After searching for a while, I found the satellite phone. I immediately sent our location to the park rangers, requesting rescue. Meanwhile, Ethan buried the bodies and guns in the ground. I found some meat in the house. Simply cooked it. And wolfed it down. The seasoning was so strong that I couldn't tell if it was beef or chicken. What kind of meat is this? I asked. It should be goat meat. Ethan replied. I found it in the fridge. I thought it had a strong gamey smell. So I added more seasoning. What's wrong? Is it not good? It's a little salty, I said. After replenishing our energy, we headed down the mountain to await the park rangers. Finally, escorted by the park rangers, we left that terrifying place. We returned to our rented apartment, marveling at our escape. Our stray cat, Patches, kept rubbing against Ethan and my legs, seemingly missing us very much. Ethan, to celebrate our narrow escape, let's take another photo, I suggested. From now on, if I ever go to these mountains again, you have to show me this picture to remind me how lucky I was to be alive. Okay, he replied. Just then, Patches kept rubbing against my leg, meowing. What's wrong? Patches? Do you want to be in the photo too? I asked. Meow. Patches seemed to understand, responding with a meow. All right. All right. Don't rush, I said. I crouched down with my phone aimed at Patches. Just as I was about to switch to the rear camera, Patches's two front paws climbed onto my phone. I lost my grip for a moment, and the phone fell onto my shoe, forming an angle with the ground. Thankfully, it didn't shatter. At that moment, Ethan was looking at his phone across from me. As I picked up my phone, I accidentally pressed the shutter button. I picked up Patches and was about to ask Ethan for a selfie when I saw the already captured photo in the bottom left corner. I clicked on it to delete it. The photo showed a monster with goblin ears. Phone camera, I realized. So, by inverting the phone, you could see the true form of the Morizera. Luna. Still taking pictures? Ethan asked, smiling at me. I suddenly jolted awake in bed, realizing it was all just a nightmare. Ethan sat beside me on the bed and hugged me. Luna. What's wrong? Did you have a nightmare? He asked. I nodded, breathing a sigh of relief. Thinking of the scenes from my dream, I secretly picked up my phone, inverted it, and discreetly took a photo in Ethan's arms. The ugly, mottled creature in her phone was staring intently at me.